We talk about, especially us being both black men in America. A lot of our communities aren't as like McKinney. McKinney, is different than some of the urban areas where there's a lot of crime. We need the cops. We need them in our communities showing force, but it has to be a certain way. And part of the reason why I'm here today is for that community policing model. And it looked like you guys were doing it before this event happened. Is that true?
Oh yeah, these guys, before we put out, 11, 3, and 7, before they even got out, these guys who live here are already talking to the kids. Matter of fact, one of the guys that leads it, he actually has teenagers and youth over to his house for Bible study. And he didn't necessarily put out a small group. They just started coming because he's Mr. Mike.
Wow.
So they know him like that. There's a guy that they call the community dad. There's a guy in here that is actually, he works on the force. There's a guy in this area, man, he's my right-hand tech guy. And man, if you need anything done, people need to use the restroom. He opened up his house. There are people here, and all of those people are black, white, mixed.
Wow.
Diverse. When you come to our church, you go, okay, listen, this is predominantly African-American, but you wouldn't expect to see the blend of nationalities that are there. And after all this, if everybody decides that they want to go, because I don't want to be a part of that, that kind of thing, I say we lived out our vision. Our vision is to restore hope and love people to life.
Pastor, what did you do differently? Because this is not a Baltimore. This is not a Ferguson. Things turned out, the event happened Friday, and there is peace here. When you step in the community where the pool is, there is no protest going. There's people back at the pool where the incident happened, having fun. Kids are back to normal. How did you do it so quickly?
Well, I don't think that I did it as much as the people did it. They just needed somebody, and the somebodies that they needed were the pastors to step up and lead and say, this is our expectation, this is what we stand for, this is what we stand against. And then not to fan the flames of racism, but to stand together. And I always try to make sure that the optic is black and white. I'm not saying that we don't have our preferences. As I said before, we live beyond ourselves by loving beyond our preferences. I prefer to have collard greens. Mike like kale. It just doesn't work together.
Pastor, you said that, that it wasn't you, it was the community as a whole. But there still is a distinct difference there were pastors in Ferguson, there were pastors in Baltimore. I'm not going to call these reverends by their name, but they're everywhere across the country, civil rights leaders. These people said that they tried this same thing. Why was your plan, your community plan, community policing model so much different?
Well, here's how I can add to that. Because here's what'll happen. It'll be like alienating some of them, but I gotta go ahead and make it clear. Just like they're saying that these parents need to take care of their kids, these parents are taking care of their kids right now.
Right.
Because my child's poor decision is not a reflection of me being a bad parent.
Right. Kids make mistakes.
Kids make mistakes. And so when they got them, I believe that the parents, look, let's handle it. Because that's how my mom was. My mom was, I'm going to defend you in public, but when I get you home, I'm going to take care of you.
So you're saying that, and that's been a lot of concerns of some viewers, across this country. I saw some Facebook posts. Where were the parents? Where were the parents? A lot of these people may be your members, may be people that you know in this community. You are confident that the parents are dealing with, the officer is now, resigned.
Right. You're
confident that the parents are taking care of their business with these young men and women.
Yeah, absolutely. If I were to pull over some of the teachers, the educators at our church, they would tell you that they deal with these kinds of things all the time. You just met my son. I had to deal with some things with my son where he was a very, very belligerent young man at times, but I had to work with him. And so if we take an incident and then define the entire parent by the incident, I think we've done a disservice. The same way, if we take Eric Casebolt and define him by the 7 minutes, then we make a mistake. We have to understand that if we are going to call ourselves believers, Jesus came for those people.